Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years. We're dedicated to delivering quality auto parts, expert customer service, fast and free shipping, all backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. So visit us at 1aauto.com, your trusted source for quality auto parts. We're going to actually hit our dome lamp override, which just turns off the dome lamp. And then we're going to start up here at the corner. You can either use a plastic trim tool, or I usually can just get my fingers behind here, pull straight out and off. And somebody pulled this off. You want to avoid pulling it this way, because as you can see, this broke off in there. It still has 2 clips left though, so it'll secure fine. And then we're going to remove 3 other trim panels. In behind the door handle, put a small screwdriver in here, pry the bottom out, and bring that out. You can see a 10mm bolt there. Then in behind the door pull, small screwdriver, pull that out. 2 more 10mm bolts are in there. And then your door lock, you want to kind of pull up a little bit and pry with a small flat blade screwdriver, and that comes up and off. Make sure you retrieve that little piece if it flies out, and if this comes out, just retrieve it and don't put it all the way in, just put it like that. Additionally, you need to pull up your trim panel. Plastic trim tool available on 1aauto.com. You put it in the back, pull up. Okay, and then work it in at the front as well. And you can see that there's 2 clips, front and rear. If you don't have a trim tool, but you have strong fingernails, you can get it out and then just pull straight up on the front as well. And then there's 4 harnesses to disconnect, and you might have more if you have more options. Just press the tabs and pull out. $10mm socket with a ratchet and extension, and we'll remove those 3 10mm bolts. These ones may stay in there after you get them loosened up, and in that case they'll just fall down and you can retrieve them after you take the door panel off. Now there's a series of clips around the edge. I usually start at the top, pull straight out, and just work your hand down, pull firmly. The bottom. Up the side. And then the door panel can come up and off. And then you'll want to disconnect your door handle, which is a matter of pressing on the tabs. There's 2 tabs, so press 1, pull through, rotate around, press on the other one. That allows you to move that back, bring that up and around, and your door panel comes off.
So we're going to take our window master switch and we're going to plug it back in so we can put the window up. These plugs here are coded, meaning they have little slots that line up, so they'll only plug in one way, because we've only got 3 plugs, but there's more than 3 spots. So like this has some ears here that match up with this connector here. And the same thing for this one, it only matches with these. So if you try to put it in the wrong ones, it won't fit. So you got to find the right one and it'll slide in. I'm just going to turn the ignition on and put the window up. Then we turn the ignition off. You can unplug this switch again so it's not dangling and in your way. Just put it aside so it doesn't get broken. Now to get to the bolts that are on the back side here, we have to pull this water barrier off. It's got some sticky, like strip caulk stuff. And just sort of peel it off. It'll just kind of go back on there. If it's really sticky, you can take a razor blade and just cut it as you're pulling it away. But just sort of gently work it off so you don't rip this foam. For the most part, you can reuse this. It will still be sticky, but you may want to get some new strip caulk to put on here when we replace it. So just be aware of that when you take it off. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do before we loosen the outside door handle is to undo it from this lock rod while it's still attached to the car. It'll make it a little bit easier. So we're going to use a flat-headed screwdriver and this little lock tab. Just kind of got to push it out, and at the same time try to pop it off. See if I can get another hand in there, just like this. There it is. It's a little tricky, but once you get it, it pops right off. All right, so now it's nice and free. So now we need to get to the two bolts that hold the outside door handle on. There's one in here. There's one underneath this rubber cover. So we're just going to use our plastic prying tool to just pop this cap off. And just put that aside so you don't lose it. Then we take our 10mm socket and ratchet, put it through that opening in the door panel. I'm going to start to loosen it. And try not to drop the bolt in there, but the door panel's pretty wide open if you drop it. Okay, so now we're going to have the other 10mm bolt. Now what you want to do with your hand that you're not using with the ratchet is just put it on the outside door handle so it doesn't fall as you loosen it. So to get this door handle out now, you have to slide it to the front and then lift it out. You might have to go around the back side, help feed it out. It's got another little tab, so if you twist it down, and then you need to feed out, disconnect it from this arm here. There you go. That's how you remove the door handle. Okay, so now we're going to reinstall the door handle. You start by fishing in the door lock actuator rod. Then you want to connect it to this one. That just pushes over like that. Now you need to sort of maneuver it in. This you can push it spring loaded to get it to go under there. Now remember there was a hook on the back of this, so it kind of has to go to the forward position a little bit and then slide back. And that's installed from the outside. Now we need to go to the back side and install the 10mm bolts that hold it on. The torque for the little bolts that hold the door handle on is 53 inch-pounds. If you don't have an inch-pound torque wrench, just make sure you tighten them very gently. Use your wrist, not your arm, as you tighten them down. As you just feel them to get tight, you should stop, because if you go too far, they will strip out the plastic or crack the plastic. So to put these 10mm bolts back through the door, to help you not drop them into the door while you're trying to feed them in there, you can take a little bit of blue masking tape and just sort of tape them so they stay in there. Just fold that over so it fits through, and you kind of just have to fish it in. See, the hole is basically straight in from this opening, and I recommend doing this by hand first to make sure you don't cross thread them. and you'll just feel it. And just hold your hand on the outside door handle so you don't push it out. And just start to thread them in. The torque on these is going to be 53 inch-pounds. So I'm just going to thread them in as strong as I can by my fingers. And then I'll come back with the torque wrench once I have the other side in. Okay, so we're going to get the other bolt in. Kind of have to feed it around the window regulator cable. And that one feels pretty tight. So now I'm going to take our inch-pound torque wrench. I've set to 53 inch-pounds. That's it. Doesn't take a lot of torque. So now that these bolts are tight, I'm going to take that grommet, put it back in the hole. All right, after you reinstall the door handle, you now need to reconnect the door handle actuator rod to the latch and actuator assembly. So that's just going to slide in here. You just kind of roll it up and over, it will lock down. All right, now we're ready to install this back on the door panel. I'm going to feed our wires through for the door switches and mirror. You can see the little channel that it was in, and you just sort of push it down in.
All right, hold on. First, you want to just make sure that your bolts come out and you've retrieved them. And then there are two tabs here that just go right into the door and rest conveniently, so that's supported. And then you can put this up. Make sure you have 4 harnesses that poke up through the opening here, or more if you have more options on your truck. And then reconnect your cable, slide the ball in, pull out, and push. And again, make sure your all your harnesses are up and through. Now that your cable's on, this ridge here actually needs to go down in to this channel here. So get the panel up into place a little higher. You can see it slides right down. Should go down evenly. This should come right up through your lock rod. And then if you look back in, you can actually see this pin here lines right up, and you can just go right around and lock the pins into place. So we want to be able to take these bolts and put them in a little bit loose though. So if you just take a piece of painter's tape, put it on the head of the bolt, stuff your socket on there, it stays much better, and you can guide it right in, start it out. And if the painter's tape does stay behind, it's not a big deal, but tighten it by hand first, make sure it's in, and then tighten it up. And this one, pretty easy to get into place. Put lockdown on, snap that in place. This one, the round side goes underneath, clips into place. Switch panel, these all only go in one way. So, like this one won't plug into there, it won't plug into there, it'll only plug into there. And then this one only plugs into there. In, and this one can go in place. And the last one, again, it has 3 tabs. One of ours is broken. Make sure it goes right straight in. Kind of look in behind.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.